This is the brand new Amazon Fire Stick 4K Max, and it's the most revolutionary device that Amazon have ever made. Oh no, sorry, that was a dream that I had. This is exactly the same as the 4K Max Fire Stick they brought out a couple of years ago. Or is it? Well, from a few feet away, it looks almost identical to previous versions, but upon closer inspection, it actually features a more refined design. That has absolutely no impact whatsoever because 99% of people throw it in the dust void between your TV and the wall, so it's rather inconsequential. But even still, it's a more rounded and friendly appearance, which is nice, and I think the rounded corners could potentially be handy to allow it to fit in tighter locations, but that'll be a pretty niche benefit for sure. Now the controller is slightly changed too and is more like the Voice Remote Pro in terms of design, although omitting some of the better features like smart home control, backlight and remote finder, and perhaps the most annoying thing is you still can't choose what buttons you get on the bottom of the device, very much like the first gen and the additional Voice Remote Pro. It's seemingly completely random as well as to what you get. I thought it was regional, but there appears to be people in the UK with different buttons than mine. It absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. Even on the listing, it tells you that the buttons will vary. God forbid you end up with one that has Amazon Music on it because there's only 3 people on Earth who actually subscribe and use it. But with the one I got, it came with Prime Video, Netflix, an all-app hotkey, and guess what I looked out on? The utterly useless Amazon Music button. Now what would be good is if Amazon actually used the data they harvest from your account for good and supplied you with buttons on the bottom that matched your top 4 most used apps. Actually, no, scratch that. Just give me 4 blank buttons for Christ's sake. It's not hard. Now, I would love to know what buttons the fates have blessed you guys with. So if you've got a Fire Stick already, do comment below what 4 buttons you've got on your remote, and you'll see just how nonsensical it is. But putting this aside, this isn't the only nonsensical thing that Amazon still haven't changed. The other is that they're still using micro USB to power the Fire Stick. I mean, what in God's name are Amazon doing making a device at the tail end of 2023 that uses micro USB? 1,000 curses on the person that made that decision, but it does have one small benefit in that it will still work with the Ethernet dongle that Amazon make, which is actually another sour point for me because it's always annoyed me that the Fire Sticks don't have native Ethernet capabilities for faster streaming. With that said, this is where one of the new Fire Stick upgrades comes into play in the form of Wi-Fi 6E, which gives the device a faster wireless connection, lower latency, and generally that makes it great for streaming and even better for those who use Amazon Luna to game with. There is a problem here. You're going to need a router that supports Wi-Fi 6E to make use of it. And as it stands, that will probably rule out a hell of a lot of people from being able to make use of this new fast connectivity. But at least it's there, and for all intents and purposes, it means that it'll be future-proofed for the foreseeable. And with its upgraded 2 GHz quad-core processor, it should be up to scratch for a good while, I'd say. Now, this is a bump up from the 1.8 GHz processor in the first-gen Fire Stick 4K Max, and it does make a difference to the overall experience within the user interface, which remains ultimately very much the same experience as it has done for years. You've got recommended content on the homepage, along with your most used streaming services along the top. You can change these as well to what you want, and you might notice that my final pinned app is Ivacy VPN, who have sponsored this episode. Ivacy provides a safe browsing experience anywhere in the world through 256-bit encryption and gives you tons of added benefits such as bypassing ISP throttling, full freedom removing geo restrictions, an internet kill switch, dedicated IP, split tunneling, and smart purpose selection for automatically giving you the best experience based on what you're doing. It supports all platforms, including the Fire Stick, and the best thing is, I obviously have a number of monthly and yearly subscription options available to suit all budgets, but they have a super special offer at the moment, £50 for a 5-year subscription, which works out at around 80 pence a month. If you want to give Ivacy a go, I'll drop my link in the description for you guys to make use of this incredible offer. Seriously, if you've got a Fire Stick, go and take a look in the description. Now, although it's only 0.2 gigahertz faster than the previous gen, navigating the menus is noticeably snappier and smoother, and loading does seem to be a lot quicker too, which is a welcome upgrade because I felt that the first gen was slightly underpowered on occasions. Still does feel a bit underpowered, but it's alright, it's not too bad. It might not seem like a huge upgrade to the speed, but I do think that was what was needed. Now, the additional power likely helps perhaps with the biggest new feature, the new Fire TV Ambient Experience, which at first certainly piqued my interest, until I found out that it's largely the exact same as the Echo Show 15, just possibly worse, if that was possible. I mean, I get what it's trying to do here. Like the Echo Show 15, it's trying to be a fancy smart home dashboard, or at the very, very least, a central family info hub where you can see sticky notes, see the weather, access news, add widgets, and control at least some of your smart home. You can set it to come on automatically after a few minutes of activity, or if you press the blue button on your remote, it'll bring up the menu to access either the smart home or the ambient experience. Now, this is the standard view of the whole experience, although you can add things like false picture borders, change a few things about the widgets, along with adding and removing some. The problem is that it's just terribly optimized and provides no real useful activity, just like the Echo Show 15, and it feels like it's designed by someone who actually hates smart homes. I just don't get how it could be so bad. Seriously, Amazon, let me know if you'd like to hire me as a consultant here, because whoever you've got doing it right now hasn't got the foggiest idea of what they're doing. Even things like the widgets, whilst on paper is a great idea, it's vehemently under-supported by both Amazon and third-party developers. Seriously, look, the Echo Show 15 has been around for 2 years now, and we only have 74 widgets available, with the majority of them being utterly useless. And here's the thing, at launch, guess how many widgets we have access to on the Fire Stick Ambient Experience? 8. Just 8. Amazon haven't even bothered porting the widgets from the Echo Show 15 across. Seriously, what on earth are you guys playing at? Anyway, with that said, it's slightly better than a screensaver, but those with OLED TVs might struggle using it properly with screen burn issues where the widgets pop up. So you'll probably not be able to even make the most of it from that respect if you have an OLED TV. Moving on, just a minute ago you saw that you could select the new ambient experience from the remote by pressing the blue button. Well, like I showed, you also have access to the smart home control too, which will suit some people, although it's got Alexa built into the remote, so I don't know why you'd need manual control, but it's there all the same. But one thing that I think has been certainly benefited from the new processor, from a smart home perspective anyway, is the picture-in-picture mode for video doorbells. On the first gen, this can take an age to load, but with a new one, it does seem a little bit faster. Now, I'm currently using the Eufy doorbell, and what happens when someone is at the door and presses the button is it adds a little pop-up in the corner of whatever I'm watching and works very much like a little video intercom, and you can then expand that up. In fact, I think that's someone at the door right now.
Someone is at the door.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
None
Nunio who?
your business.
Oh. Oh my God. Some of you might recognise that strange man at the door, and that's Adam from Free Tech. This guy is an absolute champion at getting the most out of your Fire Sticks. So if you want to learn literally anything about them and get the most out of your Fire Stick, go and take a look at his stuff, and I'll link his channel below. Just be warned, his jokes are worse than mine. So that summarises most of the changes, or lack thereof, that Amazon have implemented in the second generation Fire Stick 4K Max. And I can hear you asking now how much you'd have to pay for this upgrade. Well, at launch the price is $69.99, but let's face it, this is Amazon here. So if this doesn't drop to $49.99 in one of the many sales that Amazon has, next one being Black Friday, I'll be very, very, very surprised. But the real question is it worth it? Quite simply, I don't believe it is. It's not that it's a bad device. I've always loved the Fire Stick experience, and I love how it integrates well into my smart home, which I run through all of my Echo devices. But it just doesn't add anything new that makes it an attractive purchase, especially for those with a first-gen Macs. Thing is, even if you didn't have a Fire Stick, this probably wouldn't be the one I'd recommend to buy. If you wanted to save a penny or two, I would personally buy the regular Fire Stick, which although has slightly downgraded specs on paper, it offers almost an identical experience. The only real thing you'll notice is the lack of the Fire TV Ambient Experience, which hopefully, as I've shown, is not something you're going to miss. If you're a tech head and you're looking to future-proof, and if you're new to Amazon Fire TV, then go for it. But this is such an iterative change that those with a 4K Fire TV Stick Max first gen probably won't benefit from changing. It feels like they've just updated it for the sake of updating without actually including anything of real note worth for existing users. And you can't possibly begin to tell me that they're banking those credits with the Ambient Experience edition. Surely they're not actually counting that as a real change. It really feels like Amazon have failed to address many of the points that I had to criticise about the original release. And they keep, at the moment, releasing products that are just missing the mark for me. Don't get me wrong, I don't enjoy this device any less than any other experience with Fire Sticks, but nor do I love it any more than the last one. As a reminder, let me know what buttons you have on your remotes in the comments below, and I'll be sticking around for the next few hours replying to all of your comments, so make sure you drop down there and say hi. And don't forget to check out Adam and his review of the Fire Stick 4K Max over on his channel and all the incredible tips at getting the most out of these. I'll leave his link below, and I'll see you guys back for another episode of STU'S Reviews soon.